welcome to the third part of the pop-up book, and this is the last part to complete the pop-up book itself. Today I'm going to show you how to make all of the furniture and little teeny tiny accessories that are to go in the pop-up house. In the last couple of weeks, we've built the main pop-up house and decorated the walls and floor. Today, we're going to make the furniture. Now, this is all furniture that is going to fold up nice and flat so you can tuck it inside your boot. And I'll show you how to stick it in so that when you open and close it, all the furniture opens up with it. So that should be very fun today. To make things a little easier, I've made up some templates to make some furniture and some accessory pieces. You should find the link for all of these pieces in the description bar below, which will take you to the Google Drive where I'm going to store all of the templates and any other resources that I make. If you go to the schools that I teach at, your teachers will have all of these sent to them. So hopefully you should be able to get access to that. If you do have any problems accessing, please drop me a message. For today, you'll need all the same materials as you have done before, but you will also need the templates that I have. If you do not have a printer and you can't print out the templates that I have made, don't worry. On the document that I have put all the templates in, I have put some pages that have a few dimensions for some of the bigger pieces of furniture so that you can draw them out with your ruler. So don't worry if you don't have access to a printer. This particular part of the project will take you a little bit of time because there's several steps. So I would normally have split this up over the course of 2 weeks, but there didn't seem a good point to stop it really. So I've just put the whole thing in it, and next week I'm going to put up a shorter episode showing you how to make little characters to go in your pop-up house. I've been loving seeing all of the work on your pop-up book so far, and I'm very excited to see all the finished results. So if, like me, you just want to get this started, then let's go. Before we get started on making the pop-up furniture, I just want to explain the general mechanics of how the majority of our pop-up furniture is going to work. It does all start with a flat piece of paper, and this is kind of my diagram to show you how this would work. It's actually a very simple layout, but measuring will be important, otherwise your piece of furniture won't fold flat down. The way that this works is essentially we need a rectangle, and what we're going to do is we split up those into different measurements. Now you see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. I've got the 4 sides of our 3-dimensional box that we're going to make, and I also have a tab for glue. This measurement, as long as you have this is the same either side, that'll be fine. So maybe this side is 10 centimetres here, then this side would be 10 centimetres. If it was 15 centimetres here, it would be 15 centimetres this side. These, however, do have to be very specific in what you do. Again, it can still be any measurements, but these two need to be the same width, and these two need to be the same width. So for example, if I say this one is 10 centimetres, then this one here also has to be 10 centimetres. Do you see what I mean? Has to be the exact same. So at the top here would also be 10 centimetres, and here would be 10 centimetres. These two would also have to be the same length. So say for example, I wanted this one to be, I'm going to do that a different colour, 5 centimetres. This one would also be 5 centimetres, and same at the top. And that is the way you have to think about your measurements. The reason this is important is so that when again we fold it up, it folds flat. You also need an extra little piece here for your glue tab. That doesn't have to be a specific length, it can be anything you want. And I'll show you now what that means. So then I would fold along those measurements. So one here, one there, one here, and one here. The way that I then glue that together is I'm going to fold this flat, and what I want to do is I'm going to basically fold it in half along where my 2 sides are. So I've got those 2 on that side there, and then I glue the tab on. Now I'm going to put it on the inside so we can see it there. Because these are equal measurements, it will fold in half perfectly minus the tab. So if I fold in that tab, you'll see it is the exact same either side. So all I will do now is I will put the glue on the tab here and I'm going to fold it shut. So there, I now have a flat folded piece of paper, and all I have to do to make it pop up is to push on the two corners very gently, and that way I have made a three-dimensional cube shape here, minus these two sides. So again, when I'm done playing, it can fold right back down. So that is the basic paper engineering, if you will, for this book. So I hope that's helpful before we get started. As explained at the beginning of the video, I have provided templates for this particular part of the project, purely just to make it a bit easier for you. We've done a lot of drawing and a lot of colouring, so I wanted to make this part a little bit easier. If you have access to a printer at home, fantastic. If you don't, and you are going to draw these out yourselves, don't worry, on the templates I have got a version of some of these bigger pieces where I have put the measurements of how wide the pieces are. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your various templates printed out. Now these can again just be printed on normal paper, does not have to be card, and actually paper will be easier to use for this particular part in terms of the pop-ups. It'll be much easier to fold. There are 6 templates that you can choose from, or you can print them all off. So you will need 6 pieces of paper to print on. Recommend printing on white so that you can colour in what you need to. Again, these are just printed straight from the file. There's no need to scale, no need, just whack print and they'll print out. So what we're going to do is you're going to colour in all of the sheets that you've printed off. Now on most of these, I've given you most of the basic shapes, but on this bedding, for example, you can put in stripes, all that lovely good stuff. And I have done examples of how I have coloured in each sheet. I am not doing the colouring on camera, purely because we did lots of colouring last week and that is not the main focus of this video today. Today's focus is mostly about the building. As you can see, I gave the bedding a nice blue stripe pattern and some pink background. I did not colour in this particular side because it's going to get stuck to the floor, so there's no need to colour it in. And I've left this blank because it's our glue tab. I've also coloured in the plant, and I've added some clothes and boxes into this wardrobe. However, you could make this easily into a bookcase and ignore these doors entirely. And I just gave a little bit of colour onto the doors here. I want to show you a trick first. So we're going to be colouring in a lot of these items and then cutting them out. Many of these items, like the pepper and the cheese and things, are not going to get stuck down to anything, so you'll be able to see both sides. A trick that you can do to kind of help along, you don't have to do this, but it does make things look a little bit nicer, is if you take your piece of paper up to a window and you flip it over, you'll be able to see through your paper for the outline on the other side. And that way, if you want, you can go over your lines here, and then you can colour in the other side so that when you cut them out, they will be double-sided. And I'll put in a clip of an example so that you can see that. So there's the washing basket all cut, so you can see one side's done and so's the other. I recommend doing that colouring process before you cut it out because some of these shapes are quite small and quite fiddly. They're going to be a little bit trickier to colour in once they are cut out. I will flip over so that you can see which ones are double-sided. This is the sheet I coloured in as part of some kitchen things. Looks like this. So this section here is entirely blank for you to decorate however you wish. Mostly because I know that not everyone wants to do what I've done on here. On mine, what I did was I've done the top of the kitchen unit here, and I've done things like a washing machine, I've done a little cupboard, and I've done an oven. And I've made sure that I've oriented them the same way. So if you want to pause and copy mine here, that's absolutely fine. The washing basket and the soap powder is double-sided. So if you want to colour that in, there we go. The kitchen section that has the fridge here and all the food, all of these pieces here are double-sided. So again, if you want to colour those in, those ones, you do not need to colour in the back of this shelf here or the part that will be your fridge, but everything else will be double-sided. And that's what I did there. On the sheet that has the panda in it, the things that are double-sided are the panda bear, the sofa, the switch, and also the flower bed. Now, I'm including these two because you are going to see some of the insides. So when you flip this over, for example, you can see I've not outlined either of these two. All I needed to do was get the general outline to put the colour into, because that's the only bit we're going to see. Same for the switch. I didn't need to draw on any of the details. I just did the colours. And for Patch the panda here, I drew on the same black portions, but I did not draw on the face, unless you want to do a two-faced panda bear. And I just drew on the tail, so it looks like it's the back of the bear rather than the front. I also coloured in the other side of the two book covers, so that side and that side. Did not do anything on the inside. So again, the only bit I outlined was here. Oh, and the back of the remote. So that's that one there. On this one here that has the desk on it, I've done the exact same as I just did previously with this sofa. All I did when I flipped it over was I got the general outline and I just coloured in the back of it again. No outlines required. And I also did it for this one because I turned it into a cutting mat. So that's what we're doing here. So for the laptop, the two bookends again, the back of this section here, which is going to be a stool, and the back of the desk. So that way, when we do things here, we've got the desk is going to be two sides, the stool will be two sides, the two bookends, two sides of the laptop, and also this one that I turned into a cutting mat. And finally, the last one that is double-sided is the bicycle here. It'll be double-sided. And the flower bed. The blanket you don't have to make double-sided. I chose not to. It's up to yourself. Okay, so I flip that over. So if I flip that over, you can see the bike's done and this one here. You can also double-side the glasses if you want to, and also double-side the phone. So those are the ones that I would recommend, but again, you just take it up to a window, and even in the winter sun, you should still be able to see through it enough to get the outline. So here we go. This is my sheet already and coloured in. Our next stage is to cut them all out. So let's get cutting. So there's all of my pieces from that particular sheet now cut out. Now, just to note, for the plant here, I did not what I call fussy cut around everything, which would mean that I went around every single little section, because some of our pieces that we're going to cut out today are very small. So if you want, you can leave a little bit of a white border. That will be absolutely fine, because especially if you're going to do like this one, I'm going to stick this onto wall. You can always just colour in those extra areas. So don't worry about it, but just try and get the general shape going round there. I've also got the wardrobe and the wardrobe doors, or again, you could have made this a bookcase and you might have decided not to use this. You might have decided not to use this and only use this piece. That's totally fine. And of course, we have the bed. Now, this piece is good to go and ready to get stuck, so I'm just going to pop that to the side. But for these two pieces, we're going to do something a little different. So for this, we need to fold up to make our pop-up, and I think this will really show you how the pop-up piece works. It's the same idea and template as I showed you at the beginning of the video. And I'm also going to give you an interactive element and show you how to make this so the doors for the wardrobe open, because we're going to put this on top of here. Let's start with the wardrobe, because I think that's the easiest one to do. So what I am going to do is I'm going to cut the doors down the line down the middle so that I've got two doors. So this is my two doors that will sit on top here. And I want to create a little fold so that I can open and shut the doors. So I'm going to create a little fold on this side of the door. So the handle should always be in the middle of the door. And I'm going to fold that over slightly. Now, it's quite a small fold. Again, you can do that trick we did before, which was run your pencil, or if you've got a compass, just along that line. And again, it will help create a little dent, and that will help quite a lot. So I'm going to use my compass to help me here. So I'm just going to line with this line in the middle here. So this, not in the middle, just this line that just comes in. And I'm going to just line my ruler up against it there. And I'm just going to run the edge of the compass down there, and that, there we go, makes that much easier to fold like so. So now I have a little fold there. And when I place that on my door now, look, it's now popping up, which is great. So I'm going to put that one to the side. I'm going to do the same on this one, putting my little fold down this side here. So again, not the side that has the door handle on it. And now we can see those go on like so. And look, you can already see it wanting to do our pop-up. Our last step for this particular piece of furniture is to put a little bit of glue down the side and glue it on here, and the same on the other. So let's do that now. Gluing down. Fantastic. So now I can open and shut my wardrobe doors, which is pretty awesome. So put this aside to dry while we work on the bed. Now, as I said before, these dotty lines are where we want to do our folds. So all you want to do is fold across that dotted line. Again, you can use the ruler and the compass trick or the ruler and the pencil trick to help you along with that. As you can see, I've now got a nice bed shape when I line up the tab edge with here. It's pretty awesome. And again, I didn't do the bottom colour that in because you weren't going to see it. Now we want to make sure that this glue is nice and flat. So first things first, I'm going to tuck this tab under. And I'm going to count across 1, 2 sides of my box, because that is going to be exactly half, because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want to fold down the middle line. So I'm going to flip over, going to keep my tab nice and folded, and fold this over. Now again, you should see that that folds very nicely in half. So my last step for this particular making of the furniture is to put glue on the tab. Make sure you get right to those corners. And I'm going to fold this flat. So nice and flat. And again, if I want to make it pop up, I just have to move it like so. And we have our very first sheet all done. Now I will show you how to glue these into the room, but I want us to build all the bits of furniture first, and then we'll do all the gluing into the space. Create a little pile of all of my little furniture here and my plant. And I'm going to move on to the next sheet. The next sheet I'm going to pick is this one. Now I'm picking these sheets in order of what I think is difficulty so that you can build along your skill with me as we go. Now we're going to do exactly as we did before. I'm going to cut out all of our different shapes here. Remember, only cutting around the solid outside lines and not the dotted lines, because these, remember, are fold lines. For this, which will be our table, I'm actually going to cut out these 2 little sections here, because I want them to actually look like table legs. So I'm going to cut those out there. And I'm only going to cut round that inside. I am not cutting off the tabs or the side here. I'm only cutting out that inside shape. So there we go. I've cut out, just leaving these 2 little sections. So these pieces, the soapbox and the washing basket, are all ready to go. We need to do no more to them, so I'm going to put them in my pile of finished furniture. This purple top piece, I am going to need to make the table top for my pop piece. So I'm going to keep that one here, and I'm going to take over this piece here. So we're going to make our next piece of pop-up furniture. Again, I'm going to fold over all of my dotted lines here. So again, folded over all of those sides there. And I'm going to do what I did before. I'm going to tuck the tab in, open this back up so it's going to curl back through. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. So I'm going to count 1, 2, going to fold over that half line there and make sure, yep, that's going to fold nice and flat. So I'm going to take my glue stick, put some glue on the tab there. And again, fold it flat, give it a really, really, really good press down. And then we'll be able to pop that up. There we go. Now for this particular piece. Now you'll notice on one side I've given you a dotted outline. This is the exact same size as the square on the top. So all I'm going to do, again, make sure it fits, and look, it does. All I need to do now is put some glue on the square here and put it over. Now when I'm gluing it, this little extra bit here is the bit you want to glue onto the table. Okay, and then again I can press that down because again it all folds flat. Yeah, voila. So now I have a table that pops up and folds back down. So I'm going to pop that again in with my pile of completed furniture. Next up is the kitchen. So again, exact same steps, folding along all of these lines. So there we go, we folded all our sides, and again we can see it already wants to go into its box shape. So again, exact same steps before. Tuck the tab in, layer it flat, 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, 1, 2, fold flat along this one so it presses down. Excellent, that's all looking good. Lift up, glue on our tab, and then again fold flat, press down. So there we go, it's fold nice and flat, but again pushing on the sides, it now pops up into our little kitchen unit. So hopefully now we're getting into a rhythm of these and the hang of it. So again, I'm going to put that in my pile of completed furniture here. And that is us finished with our second sheet. The next sheet I'm going to move on to is this one. This is the sheet with the desk. And again, you can double side colour this one. And again, I'm just going to cut round all of the outlines of the pieces that I have here. I'm not going to cut out this inside section of the desk though, so leave that be just now. So on this paper, this little piece here, this little green mat, which is supposed to be like this one here, is all good to go. So I'm going to put that in my pile of completed bits. Now let's start with the laptop. Now this, believe it or not, is actually a laptop. So all I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to fold over my little dotted lines here. So when I fold all that in there, as I flip it over, I've got the front of my laptop here. Now, as I'm folding this in, it's not quite folding over. See how it's curling up? I don't really want that. I want that to fold really nicely. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to just very carefully just trim a little bit off the keyboard side and see how that does now. So I'm going to fold that back in, try and fold it up, and that is much, much better. All I have to do now is glue these two sides to fold in so they look like this. So there's the bottom with the little feet. We've got the top, and then it opens up into a laptop. That is this piece now completed. So again, I'm going to pop this to the side. I'm now going to do this one, which is going to be a book. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to fold again over all those little dotted lines, just as everything before. Now, as you can see, as we fold that up, it's wanted to curl itself into a circle. It's not wanted to become its book shape. So what we need to do is we want to start folding this in. So I'm going to fold the front cover like so, so it's got the bend on the side here. And then for my next one, I'm going to fold that one backwards, join that up, fantastic. I'm going to fold that one in. So again, you're basically doing this, folding this way now, folding that way. You should have a zigzag fold like so. Now it's still not quite book shaped. I want this to fold together and hold like this so I can flip my pages together. So all I'm going to do start gluing some of those sides together. So see now I have a book page that's filling. So I'm going to hold that one down now. A bit of glue on the next one. Close that down. Again, give that a good press. So now you can start to see I'm getting some book pages. One more here. And that's me all done. I now have a book that opens and closes. Now again, that's all done. So I'm going to pop that to the side to dry just now fully. I'm going to make the stool now. So that's this long one here with the 4 squares. And again, same as before. Fold those dotted lines. Okay. And again, we're going to fold this together just as we've done all the other pop-up furnitures. So folding the tab in, counting 1, 2, folding across. Yep, that's going to fold down really nicely. Bit of glue onto the tab. And again, pressing down. And again, all good to pop up now. This is where you can really see how colouring the inside just helps give this a very cohesive look. Pop that to the side. And finally, for this particular sheet, we're going to make the desk. Now I did say, do not cut this section out first. As these little lines here are so small and delicate, it's going to be a little bit trickier to fold that neatly. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to fold on those sections. I'm going to fold along all my dotted lines first, so that's one across there. The next one, which is here and here, give that a good press. This one. And finally the tab. Awesome. So now as we can see, that's ready to fold into its box. But I want to cut out this bit here. Well, it's already folded. I just need to fold over this line here. Fold over. Give this a little snip so that I can get my scissors in and cut out the white section that I have done here. Now again, if you want to make it a bit easier, you can cut a large section out the middle of this white, and that'll give your scissors a little bit more room to move. That's that all cut out. And now we can glue it together. Now, even though this section in the middle is cut out, we've already had our pre-folds. So I can still tuck the tab in, fold this in half, and this will still fit together. So again, I'm going to open that up, fold in the tab, and that's done. When we open that up now, there we go. You can see I've got a pretty realistic looking desk without a big piece of paper in the middle here. I'm going to pop that to the side. Next one I'm going to do is this particular sheet here that has the bicycle on it. And again, I'm going to cut these out. So there's all the pieces cut out. As you can see, the bicycle come out is really nice double-sided, and I didn't do a fussy cut around it. I did leave a bit of a white border around the bike. And again, do that if you want to, that's fine. This one's done, so I'm going to put this in my pile of finish. The book is finished, the sunglasses and the ball. I'm going to put those in as well. And the picnic blanket. Oh, the phone too. The little phone as well. These pieces, I've got a little bit of folding to do. This piece with the flowers is actually needed for one of the other sheets. So I'm just going to pop that to the side for now, so that I remember to use it later. So keep this separate because we're not done with this bit yet. I'm going to start with the little envelopes here for some post, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold down that centre line, and that'll make a little letter, and I just need to glue that shut, and I'll do the same for the other one too. That's my 2 letters complete now, so I'm going to again put them in my pile This piece here will be an envelope that we can keep all of our smaller items in nice and safe. So all we're going to do for this one is fold again along all our dotted lines. Okay. Now the way this folds together is we tuck these two little tabs in, we fold the larger side shut, and then this side will become the top of our envelope here. So to glue this together, all I want to do is just put a little bit of glue on the tabs at either side. Do not put it on this middle section. If you get a bit of glue on the inside, just give it a rub with your finger and that will make it de-stick a little bit from your paper. So I'm going to now fold that large piece shut, and I'm going to keep this top bit open because that's going to be the lid for my envelope. And now I can get inside that envelope. Do not put any of the small things inside this just now. You have to wait till this totally dries. So just put it to the side. The next sheet we're going to do is the one that has the sofa on it, or the one that has the panda on it, whichever you identify with. And again, I'm going to cut these out. So that's that sheet all cut out, and I've still held on to this because I'm going to again need this shortly. But I'm now looking at my things here. The little photo frames are complete, as is the tiny Nintendo Switch, which is double-sided, the remote, and of course the little panda bear. And I am not gonna lie, I am incredibly chuffed with how this little guy has turned out. It may be my favourite thing in the whole thing. The TV is also finished, as is this little bookshelf. So again, I'm gonna carefully put them in my little pile of completed things. So let's do these other ones. Let's start with the book again. So this is the exact same way as we did the blue bit before. So again, I'm going to fold over all of this ones here. So I folded over, and again, it all wants to go into that C shape. So again, I've got my two book covers here, and I'm going to start with the front cover. And I want the book to be able to open up this way. So I'm going to fold this one that way, and again you can always check by checking, yep, I can open up that book cover. And I'm going to fold down like that, so always folding so the two sides touch until it's shut. And before you glue anything together, you can always pinch on the side with the spine and check, yep, that's how I want it to open. Again, pinching it open. I'm going to open, put some glue on the back, shut it there, and another one there, and shut that there. And again, if I let that go, it wants to automatically pop open into the little book. So again, that's now done. I'm going to pop that to the side. Next one we're going to do is the little bookshelf. So same drill as before. Okay. And again, same as before, tucking the little tab in, making sure, yep, that all folds nice and flat. And then a bit of glue on that tab. Fold shut, and again pops open like so. So off to the side. Next we're going to do the planter, and we will need this shape here and this one, so the one that's actually labelled planter on your thing. The same as before, tuck the little tab in, count 1, 2, fold over. Again, that's folding nice and flat. Glue on the tab. And again. And again, that can fold up as we do. This is where this little section comes in. Now, it's double-sided, so it doesn't matter which way you do it, as long as you fold over the line between the green flowers and the brown part at the bottom. We're going to leave this pointing up like so, so we've got an L shape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of glue on the bottom and glue that onto the planter like so. So we've got some sticky up flowers that are going to stand forward a little bit. Now, if you want to make them sit a little bit more centered, you could always trim this a little shorter, so you can adjust where they will go, and I think I might do that. So again, only on that bit in the middle, and I'm going to fold this down flat because it's going to make it much, much easier. And I'm going to glue the flowers on there, press them down, so again they're nice and flat. And then when I pop that up, I've got my little flowers in my flower bed, pop to the side. Now we're moving on to the sofa. This one is a little trickier, so make sure you're watching very, very carefully, because you will see I've got dotted lines here, 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 here and here that are not all in one straight line down at the bottom. There is a reason for that. So what I recommend you do is watch this full part first, then go back and do it with me, okay? I'm going to cut down to this point here. So 1, 2, and then down to this point here. So I'm going to do that just now. I'm going to do that on either side. So as you can see, I've cut down to this fold line here. Do not bend these down. I'm just showing you that there. Now that I've done that, that's the last cut I need to do for the sofa. I can now start folding across all of the little folded lines. So I'm going to start with these ones at the top here, and I'm going to work my way down. So across this next dotted line here. So I should have this now. Then going to fold over these 2 dotted lines on the side there. And again, I'm not folding across this bottom. So I'm folding that there. Folding down that way. And then this one here. So you're only folding across the dotted lines. Now again, if you're getting a bit done, just make sure you've unfolded things from the back. That'll make it a little easier. Oh, just be careful. Okay, and then finally my 2 lines here. Okay, so now we've got this weird shape that doesn't look like a sofa. What we need to do is we need to go back over a couple of these folds, and the only one we need to do is this one at the top here. I'm going to fold that just on that same fold line, but fold it forwards. And what you should now start to see is we are actually starting to get a sofa like shape. So you can see that happening there. The way that we glue this down is going to be the same as before. Now you can see if it's already doing this, you're already good. So what I want you to do is I want you to pinch this part here, so the bit that hits the floor. Okay, and you're going to fold it in half. So when I say fold it in half, I mean count along 1, 2 sections. So these 2 whole sections, fold this in half here. What you will see if you fold the back of the sofa down is we've got a little space here. I am going to use that to glue all of these tabs down. So this tab here, I'm going to glue and stick down there. This tab, I'm going to put a bit of glue, keep it folded and stick it down that way. And same, I'm going to put a bit of glue on this back side and then fold this back here. So let's do that one at a time. So I'm going to put a bit of glue on this little tab just here. Going to fold that under, press it down so it's nice and flat and it matches the corner. Same on the other side. Going to just unfold that tab a second, a bit of glue on there, fold down and press. And then fold down the sofa and this little gap here, going to put some glue on there and then fold the sofa back. Now it is completely flat, but when I now push that back up, it's now in a sofa shape. And that's that one done there. This looks really cool when you make it up. It's really fun. And it is easier once you get the hang of it to make. So don't worry if this takes you a little bit of time. Just pause, follow the steps one by one. Just make sure you're doing each step right. Again, when it's done, it can all fold down and get tucked away. Our very last sheet that we're going to do is this one, which is all to do with the kitchen and the fridge. What we're going to do is, again, we're going to cut things out here. So that's all those very small, tiny pieces cut out. I also did not fussy cut around any of these. As you can see, I left a very neat white border all the way around, and I did that for all of them so they would look cohesive, and I think doing it that way is the best way. That's my template now all cut out. Now what we're going to do is we are going to fold over our 2 dotted lines here. So now I have this here. What I want to do is I just want to make sure it's folded correctly first now. This piece here is going to be the fridge door. Now I also want this to close over, so I'm going to fold it backwards on itself now. And if I now go up, I've now got the inside of my fridge, and I'm going to show you how to do some cutouts so that you can put actual items in and out of the fridge, make some more interactive elements. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out all of these areas, all of these shapes in between. You could just cut out one if you wanted, see how you like it first. I'm going to make sure that I now unfold, make sure that this door is on this side so we don't accidentally cut it. And just like when we cut out doors and windows previously, fold that paper over. And I'm going to do this on all of them to start with first. Because once we start cutting and we've got these little borders, things will start to become a little bit more fiddly and a little bit weaker. There we go, that's all of my little pieces cut out. So again, I'm going to just double check, fold that back the way it was, we'll be able to fold that close. Now, I need another piece to put on the back here, and we're going to glue this door down to the door, but we're going to do it in a very specific way so that we have some little openings that we can slide some pieces into and they'll sit there and stay. I'm going to glue onto the door first because that's going to be the easiest. Now, I did say we're going to glue this in a very specific way. And the specific way is in regards to these 3 sections here. What I want to do is I am going to add glue onto here, but I'm not going to add it all the way over this shape. I'm only going to glue it in this area where I've shaded here. So I'm going about halfway over the box. Again, shady shades. And again, leave a little gap at the bottom there and then shade in here. I'll put glue all around the border here. But the only gaps I'm leaving are just a little space underneath each of these, which will be our shelves. And then all I'm going to do, fold that door shut and give it again a really good press down. But now what should be able to happen is that little gap should be there, that I can now slide some things in and take them out. Make sure that you did leave gaps, but let this dry fully first. Let this dry. I'm going to need as well an extra little spare piece of card, and I'm going to do the same on this one here. So if you want to see that again, a gap here, a gap there, and a gap there. I'm going to put glue on here, 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 and all the way round the border. So I'm going to do that too. Using my spare piece of card, I'm going to try and line up the door with the edge and then press that down so that I can open that up. Now I can cut round the outside of the door so that I get a perfect match for the front of the fridge. This guy is now ready to decorate. And I'm going to put some of the food items into the fridge so I can show you how that looks. So I'm going to start with this big gammon joint. So what I should now be able to do is I should just be able to, look at that, tuck behind the fridge and it doesn't fall out. It sits really nicely in there. I think what I might do is at the end, I might go back and just colour in these sections with blue with my pencil. And if that'll work, let's put the milk away. There we go, I've put all of my food items now in my fridge. I can close that up and they're not going to fall out. Put that in the section of thus finished. So these last few things here are things that are going to be loose or stuck on a wall. So this clock, for example, will get stuck on the wall, so I'm going to tuck that there. This shelf, I want to do something similar, which as I did. So what I am going to do is instead, however, of cutting out the entire shape, what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop this over so that I join up the corners, but I'm not going to press them down. I'm just going to hold them like that. And I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut along that line at the bottom there. And if I open that up, I should have very nicely and neatly cut along this line at the bottom. But instead of cutting out the whole section, I'm only going to cut a little bit off of the sides here. Reason being, if I leave it completely flush and don't cut it away, I won't be able to actually slide any of the bits and pieces in there. Okay, I can now start to tuck some of the other items into there. I don't know if I've got my saucepans that I can tuck in there. I've got the plate. So now it just helps them to stay a little bit more together and not going to roll around as much. So that is all of the small furniture and small pieces ready to make inside the house. And now we're ready for some assembly. Now, you could technically leave all of these things separate and just arrange them as you wish throughout the house and just fold them up inside for play. But I'm going to show you how to actually stick them into the house so that when you just open and shut the book, everything's just going to pop up ready to go. So let's start that now. And for that, I am going to need the pop-up book. I'm going to start this just one room at a time. So I am going to start, I think, with the kitchen. So for that, I'm going to need my little kitchen unit that I did. I'm also going to need the fridge. I will need my little table too. And let's just see, oh, I'll need my little cupboard full of my saucepans and things, my washing basket, my wall clock, and my soap powder. So those are things for me that I'm going to pick out from my selection here for my kitchen. Now, all I'm going to do to start with is I'm just going to play with where I want to arrange these pieces. So I could put this one over here, but it's then going to block my doorway here and I'll not be able to get past it. Same with this side here. So I'm going to either put this side one here or here. And I think I'm going to put it this way. I think I like it this way. Leave the way to the bedroom clear. I think I'll put my fridge this way because the door opens this way. So I think I'll have that opening towards the wall. And then I think I will have the shelf on the other side of the wall there. So I'm going to glue down, I think, first the fridge and the shelf. I'm going to take everything out of the shelf because they're going to be the easiest. So on my fridge, the front of the fridge is the handle. The back has got everything blank. So I'm going to put some glue on the back there. And I'm going to press that onto the wall. Now I'm going to put the fridge right against the floor there. Make sure it's where I want it to. And when I'm happy, give it a good press that way. And then I'll be able to open and shut my fridge, but still be able to take all the pieces in and out. That's that one there. I'm then going to put the shelf on this wall over here. So there it is, glued on the wall there. I've got quite a tight space here for the camera, so I won't be able to put it all in fully. I am actually going to leave the table just so that I can move that in and out freely to give myself more play space, because if I put both of these here, I'm going to leave this quite a cramped space. So I'm going to choose to just leave this as a physical thing that I can take away. And then I'm going to glue on the kitchen unit here. So again, I'm going to have all the various spacing in here, and I'm going to glue it on the edge. Now, this is where gluing gets really important for where you actually want to put it. As we remember, we've got our fold line down the middle here so that we can fold this up. If I glue all the way along the bottom here and just glue it flat down, I'm not actually going to be able to shut this anymore. What I need to be able to do is I just need to glue on one little section on one half of the side here. So I'm going to draw this on for you so you can actually see it. So if I take my pencil here, okay, so the outline of my box is fitting on here this way up to the fold line here. If it went all the way across, it would be over there. I do not want to put glue on this section, so do not put glue on there. I am, however, going to put glue on this other section here, just up to that halfway point. Not any further, so this I'm leaving completely unglued. And I'm going to again fold up, and because this can fold flat, I'm going to fold it down that way and then press it down that way. And then what we should still be able to do is when we shut this now, this should be able to now close. Now, because this hasn't got a wall that's going to stand against, I am actually going to fold it in like so, so that we can actually see this folding up. There we go. First few times you fold and unfold, it might just take a minute, but if we see that now, can now just fold that up, ready to go, and again, fold that back in, and I can again fold that shut. So my book stays completely flat like that. And again, when I open it back up, my pieces are just ready to pop back up there. So that, for me, is nearly the kitchen done. I've just got a few accessories that I'm going to pop on the wall, like my kitchen clock. And then I'm going to put all of the tools just back in the side there for now, just to keep them all nice and tidy. So there we go, I've tucked all my bits and pieces in the side there, everything's tucked in there, and like I said, I'm keeping the table a separate piece so that again I can just move it out for some extra play space, and I can just have my little table at the side where we can do some things. But of course, if you wanted, you could again always pop it on one side. That is my room completely done. So I will show you some close-up camera shots of this room so you can see the finished picture here. I'm now going to move on to the living room. So same as before, I'm going to pick out all the pieces for my living room. So I will need my sofa, the bookshelf, the little picture frames I made, the TV remote, the TV, the switch, the little box of books or DVDs, whatever you want, the novel, and we'll leave that there just now. Now, some of these bits are not going to get stuck down, like the book and the switch. So I'm just going to again move those to the side for now. And I'm just going to focus on the bits that are going to get stuck down first. I also do not need that remote. So just like with the kitchen, I am going to arrange as I want to. So I could put this settee here, and I could put that one there. And I could have this screen there, or I could have it the other side. Could have that there, and then I could have the plant shelves on that side, and then I could put the little pictures above or below maybe. Yeah, let's do that. Do I want this on a... Yeah, I am going to put the sofa on the side here. So I think I'll start with this little book unit here, which I want to tuck right into the corner. Now, this is a note for when you are putting something like this on. We are going to have to glue two sides. So sides that are going to touch the floor and the wall, like so that we can tuck it right against. We also do not want to put this piece right against the corner here because it's going to have a really difficult time shutting. So what I want to do is I want to move that over as far as I can, and so that it is beyond this halfway mark. So again, I'm going to draw around that so that you can see it, but you don't have to do that. Okay. So that is where my box is going to sit, and as you can see, the actual line for the fold line is over here, so there's a little bit of a gap. So again, I'm going to just double check I'm happy with it and I've got it the right way around. Good. So I'm now going to put some glue on this side and the bottom. Now if you want to, you can go okay. I'm going to put, seeing these two sides here, so I'm going to scribble on the back there, and again you can always double check. Yep, I'm going to put some glue on this side here so you know exactly where you're putting your glue. And we're going to put some glue on those two sides here. Okay. And then I'm going to place that here. Now you want to make sure that's placed really, really nicely. Make sure it's placed right on the floor, otherwise again it's going to interfere, and you can always check just by turning it, making sure that it is all pressed in. Okay, and it should fit very nicely. While it is still damp, just double check. Oh, look at that. It folds right up nice and flat and pops out really nicely. You don't have to fold this one out once you open it because it's already got the support of the walls. When it opens up, it's just going to automatically sit. So that is looking really, really good. Very, very happy with that. So let's now stick on the television above that. And there. So that's looking good to me. And then I'm going to put the shelf on the other side here. There's the shelf on there, and I'm going to put my little photo frames just underneath that. And there's all my little framed photos as well. So the last piece to stick down now is the sofa. Now I could turn it, so I could do it straight on, but I think I want to put it on an angle. So again, I'm going to make sure that this base fits on here. So don't make this stick out, otherwise it's not going to fold out properly. And I'm going to make sure that the base fits on the floor. And I'm going to decide where I want it to go. This is going to work the exact same because I'm going right across the centre line here of the fold line for where the floor folds. I need to do it the same way as I did that kitchen cabinet. So I'm going to take my pencil, and from that fold line I am going to draw around just one half of that sofa on the side of the fold line. So there we go, you can see that there, and there's the fold line. So as before, I'm just going to put glue on that bit and that bit only. Do not go beyond that line there. And I'm going to just line it up as best I can on that side, and again give that a good press down. And again, you can see when this folds down, it's going to fit very nicely in there. Fold back up and we'll be good to go. Once again, I'm just going to double check this folds down. So again, because this doesn't have a wall helping it fold down, I'm just going to make sure, yep, that folds down really nice and flat. Double check, open it up again, just give that sofa a little push back. All good to go. I'll just show again. So that folds down. I'm just going to hold that down while it shuts. Perfect. I'm now going to move to the bedroom here. So for the bedroom, I will need, I'm going to move on to the bedroom now. So for that, I will need the bed. I'm going to need the desk. I'm going to need our little box that I made, which is going to be the stool for the desk. I'm going to need my plant. I'm going to need the wardrobe. And those are all the bits that I need to stick down. I'm going to start with the wardrobe, which I am going to stick in the corner here on top of this one. This other thing here was a test I did before. I'm going to cover that up with this one. Look on there now. All ready to go. Next piece I'm going to stick on is the desk, and I think I'm going to put that under the window, and I'm going to put the bed on this side over here. I think I'm going to put the plant in the corner over this other one that I didn't really like, so I'm going to put the plant in the corner there, and then I'm also going to stick the stool under the table. So I think I'll start with the plant in the corner. There's the plant in the corner there. You can see next to the wardrobe. I'm going to now glue in the desk at the side here. And I'm going to do this the same as I did in the other one. So when I glue this down, I want this corner to be flush against this one. So I'm going to do that the same way. So again, bottom of the and the back are going to be, now this one's much easier to tell. But again, if you want, you can go, okay, I know that this side needs to touch a wall, so holding on to that, I'm going to put a scribble on that side. And I know the bottom of the desk also needs glued. So I'm going to very carefully put glue on those bits there, making sure I don't get glue on any of the other sides. Okay, and I'm going to do just as I did before. I'm going to position that, so I'm going to fold it shut slightly so I can make sure that I get the corners there. I'm going to fold that up, make sure I'm really pressing into the corner. Now for something quite large like this, you can use your ruler to go inside and help you press it. And this one, as you can see, is not going over the line. So again, let's just double check while that's still drying. We're just going to make sure, and this is where it gets a little bit trickier sometimes, that yep, that folds up again really nicely. And when I fold that back out, it's going to pop back up. Excellent. Next is the stool, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Do I want to glue this on the back? I'm going to leave actually this part separate just so that I can move it out to make it then look like that my character is going to be sitting on the stool. I think that'll be fun. And then last is the bed. I'm not going to put it that way. I am going to decide where I want it. I'm going to make sure I've got it leaned against the corners here. Let me just turn this so you can see it. So against the two corners of the room, so that when it all folds down, it will be fine. And then I'm going to do as I did before. Now I'm going to pick the larger section that is sitting on, which is on this half. And just like I did before, so you can see, I'm going to draw around the side there so that you can see where it goes up to that fold line. And this is the only section again that I'm going to put glue on. And then I'm going to very carefully line that up. I'm going to turn this so I can actually see it. And again, press that down flat. Fold that back up. And again, while it is still damp, we're going to see how that folds shut. So yep, you can see, and as it raises, I'm just going to give that a little squish in, help it along. As I shut it there, making sure it's not getting caught in the doors, I can now fold that all entirely shut. I think that's looking great. My little stool will just be able to slide onto there, which is great when I'm ready to play. And that's the bedroom done. Lastly, I'm going to do the garden, and for this one, I only have one piece that I'm actually going to stick down, which is the flower bed, which I'm going to tuck under the window here because I would like a lot of room to play in this particular section. So I'm going to do as I did before. I want to make sure that it's flush right against the wall there, and I'm going to put glue on one of the backs and one of the bottoms. So let me do that just now, and again you can fold this flat, you can put the glue in a bit easier. Okay, and then I'm going to place that right against there. Make sure, press that right into the corner. So like we said, it's flush. And for this again, you can use your pencil to just help flatten all that in. Make sure it's pushed right into that corner. And then, again, while it's still damp, just double check. Oh, look, that shuts really nice and easily. Fantastic. And our flowers still pop up nicely. I might need to give them a press back every so occasionally. But that is that one done. That is all of the stick-in pop-up parts complete. So now we can just readily assemble and play. When I am done with play, I can just now tidy everything up. Now this is where our little envelope comes in handy. So all these loose pieces, like the little book and the glasses, I can just put into that little envelope, and that will help keep everything nice and tidy. So I'm going to do that just now. Anything that is small and loose, I'm going to pop into this little envelope here. So that's them all nice and tucked in there, and I can just now fold that shut. These larger pieces I'll all just be able to, again, fold nice and flat. Whoops, that one should go in there. I'll be able to just fold nice and flat, fold shut my envelope, and then as I fold up my book nice and carefully, now when I'm doing this for the first few times, just make sure you're folding this nice and carefully. So just fold one room at a time. So I'm going to then start with this one, fold up the next one, folding up the next room, folding that one up, and then the last one. And then as that folds up, press the sofa down. That's going to be all good to go. And then all I want to do is, I think in the front garden page, I'm just going to slide in that envelope and slide in some of these other larger pieces so that it all folds away nice and tidy. I am going to keep this shut with a paper clip, like so. So nothing's falling out of there, it's all good to go. However, what you could do is you could attach a ribbon either side of the book cover as well, and you could just use it and tie it shut, and that would help an awful lot too. But that is now my main pop-up book complete. Well done. I hope you had a lot of fun making it and that you have lots of fun playing with it too. Remember to take lots of pictures and share them with your teachers to show them what you've made. You should be very proud of yourself. There was lots and lots of steps in this. So very, very well done. Very, very well done indeed. So again next week, as a little bonus, but it will be a much, much shorter episode because of the length of time this will have taken, I am going to show you how to make a little character to go inside. So that will just be a short little extra bonus episode next week. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day and the rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.